Let's go. Kick it off. All right, welcome. We finna get to it. I know everybody's ready to get down, and people are already telling me they can't believe it. Like, can you believe Rich Paul has never negotiated a contract for Klutch Sports? They don't believe it. They're like, I can't believe that. There's no way LeBron would have a guy in there that's doing that. No way could that be possible. No way. So everybody is shaking their head. 50 Cent like, man, I can't believe this shit's happening, man. So everybody is like, what is going on? What does Cino have up his sleeve today? Well, I have the facts. And you know, when I say I have the facts, I have the facts. Hey, oh my goodness. So, without further ado, yours truly, Carcino, here is about to make history. So, let's get it.
Hi, I'm Carcino.
Oh, let's talk about it.
No one knows Carcino and none of these.
There's so much going on in the world, and I'm just giving my 2 cents on it. Go in and do a raid at someone's house, but you don't have an arrest warrant for them. Wagga. Now listen, what did I tell you guys about Rich Paul before? Now, this is Rich Paul today. The reason why Rich Paul got time to do podcasts is and to sit there with Max Kellerman because he ain't got nothing else to goddamn do. All he do is walk around and pretend. See them 2 white boys over there? See, that's UTA. A UTA, United Talent Agency, they own Klutch Sports. They call it a partnership, but it really isn't. UTA owns them. So your company is owned by White Zaddy. And they said, well, we can get you top tier clients. That's not homeboys of just NBA players. We can get you European football players and football teams. And this way you'll be respected and taken seriously. See, nobody took Klutch Sports seriously. So UTA needed to improve their color profile, meaning that they needed black people on there because the diversity issues and things of that nature. So they said, why not buy or we'll partner with LeBron James's buddy's firm? Now, with this taking place, this erased the guy that actually put everything in motion and got everything situated and put to bed, the man who goes by the name of Mark Termini. Now, he's the guy that's negotiated everybody's deals and was the whole negotiator for Klutch Sports for all LeBron James contracts. Every single last one. UTA now wouldn't be negotiating now on behalf of LeBron James. Still not Rich Paul. Rich Paul has not negotiated a contract. One, because Rich Paul does not have a legal degree. I'm not hating on Rich Paul. I'm telling you the truth. You guys have been lied to for so long. This dude been coming on TV talking about he's the power broker, all this BS. He's not. He's a hustler. That's all Rich Paul is a hustler. Like his daddy and all them. He is a hustler. And it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. Not surprising. Oh, it's going to get worse. Trust me. Because why you say it's not surprising, best believe it gets deeper. Because I'm here to tell you right now. And on the Patreon version of this, you're going to want to pay attention to that one. If you're not a Patreon member, you're going to want to be one today. I guarantee you that one. Now, Rich Paul is a crack baby. I'm not cracking a joke on him. I'm not trying to make fun of Rich Paul. Rich Paul is a crack baby. There's a reason why he got little small arms and stuff, and why he's just like so out of his mind. And hey, man, tiny hands and all this. He's part crack baby. Not only is he part crack baby, Down syndrome runs in his family. His auntie got Down syndrome. Just to give you a little background. All the truth came out when Termini sued Klutch. True. But this is why we say all the devils are in the details. Now, I'm not saying that as a detraction to Rich. To have all these things, it makes sense to why Rich is the way he is. Give you some context to how Rich actually was. Uh-oh. Hold on, good people.
Has not been with.
Now, here's the news, good people. They try to knock you off. They don't want you to hear this information. Everybody, LeBron's on the phones. LeBron's working the phones, baby. They got Bron. I should have waited till he was playing. Bron at home. Hey, Rich, man, somebody talking about you, man. They know you. You know this guy named Carcinio. Carcinio, what's that? Full life? Carcinio for life. You know him? No. Because they're not signing to Klutch Sports. They're signing to UTA. Klutch Sports is just to let you still believe that Klutch Sports still exists. There is no more Klutch Sports. That has been absorbed by UTA. They handle all the negotiations. They're getting all the clients. Rich Paul ain't got shit to do no more. Now, let me tell you this right quick. Listen to this.
Hello and welcome to the Hoop Collective podcast. We talk about the NBA, which we are doing on Thursday afternoon. If you listen to this podcast, you know that I rarely have guests outside our collective group at ESPN. I make exceptions. The last exception that we made was for Chris Paul. This exception today is for Mark Termini, who has been an agent in the NBA and done some NFL contracts and endorsement deals, but has primarily been an agent in the NBA for 5 decades, parts of 5 decades. He'll correct me if I'm incorrect. He has negotiated over $2 billion in professional sports contracts. And he most recently in his professional career, although he was an agent for decades before the formation of Klutch Sports, but was the lead negotiator for Klutch Sports. When Rich Paul formed Klutch Sports, his primary partner right out of the gate was Mark Termini. He has not been with Klutch, I think, since 2019. He'll correct me, but I would want to introduce him. So from Cleveland, Ohio, where he...
Now, what did you say? Lead negotiator. A lead negotiator for Klutch Sports. He handled all negotiations. Mainly because Rich Paul, one, does not have a legal degree. He doesn't know law. Most sports agents have a legal degree. So they can negotiate contracts and don't have to get an extra lawyer to come in the room. They have legal degrees. But Rich, Mr. I don't need no college. Him and his wife, Mark and his wife, they have their own legal law degrees. His wife is the same way. She sometimes comes in and helps out legally with the legal process of the contracts and endorsement deals. Thank you very much. I blame my friend and his cats. But here's what I want you to see also and listen to. You're looking at a guy that signed to Klutch Sports, Brian Windhorse. Now listen to this.
From and lives, actually, I think it's outside Cleveland, Ohio. Don't want to say exactly where you are, Mr. Termini, but generally the Cleveland, Ohio area. Welcome, Mr. Mark Termini.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate the invitation.
Did I say anything incorrect? Do I need to correct the record there?
Was good. 5 decades puts it in a proper context, but if it's 5 decades, how far back into the decades did we start communicating? At least 3 of those. Yes,
for sure. You represented everybody from Ron Harper in the 80s to LeBron James, to Anthony Davis, to John Wall, to Pau Gasol. Who else is notable that you've represented over the years? Jim Jackson, we'll talk about later.
The earlier days, starting with Ron and Brad Sellers, now the mayor of Warrensville Heights. There were lottery picks back in the 80s, and Costa Kufis from Canton, Ohio. But I will always link to our book, which is the reason that you saw some interest in maybe visiting with me. Yes. And not to, this is not a promotion for it. It's an organizational outline. But I remember getting a call from one of our mutual friends. He says, there's this kid in Akron, and I think he's going to be good. I'd like you to talk to him. Okay. I got to talk to this junior G-man writer and see what he has to say. And here we are, 3 decades later, a media conglomerate,
Yes,
collective, but and I'm going to introduce my personal attorney, Alexis Anderson, sitting in to monitor the communications. I always travel with my personal attorney now. I have 2, Wendy Cohn, who's a senior partner, and my young associate monitoring everything. But as she will tell you in the book, success has 1,000 fathers and failure is an orphan. So due to your success, Brian, I'm taking some credit for it, because that day that I talked to you about some arcane thing in the collective bargaining agreement when you introduced yourself, you've done a heck of a job with your career. So congratulations to you, but I will take a tiny bit of that credit.
rightly speaking, fascinating people in the NBA that the average fan doesn't know about. I'm thrilled that he agreed to come on today. We're going to talk a lot about the league and contracts and players and stuff like that. And this book is a collection of mottos, sayings, adages, pearls of wisdom, with his comments on many of them. And the one that I think is my favorite in the whole book. There's many that are not attributed to you. There's you quote everybody from Shrek characters to Estee Lauder to all kinds of different people in the NBA to famous philosophers and logicians, Sicilian proverbs, which is some of your favorites. But the thing that is in this book that is my favorite page, and is the page that I think personifies Mark Termini and the $2 billion of contracts that he negotiated and our many conversations over the years, is this right here, which is, quote, the NBA cares, but not that much. Which is the NBA cares is their charity arm. He's not talking about charity, but Mark, I'd like you to explain your philosophy about why you say the NBA cares, but not that much.
Well, because my career, Brian, as you know, it's been behind the scenes the way I want it to be, and I purposely kept it there for a number of reasons, business oriented and others. But the NBA is the best, most successful, most powerful sports marketing organization in the world. They deserve all the credit for that. But my job and my duty was to my clients to maximize their situations as players, to protect them from the business challenges that would come about in this very tough business of being a professional athlete. And I learned over the years, not only as kind of a characterization, but as a protective mechanism, to realize that players and agents that come into the league and think that the perception of any sports organization, professional sports organization, from the NCAA, which is a professional sports organization, to the NBA, to the NFL, they're in business to maximize their profits and to put on their production. And if you don't realize that early on, you're going to learn a very harsh lesson. So I just try to explain to the clients and the people that I advise that you cannot be naive to what this is as a business. That could be through trade, injury situation I just explained, and I'm going to categorize, we'll talk about more items of propaganda. The league is extremely skilled at messaging, at their verbiage, and the fact that NBA Cares might be a great program for rehabbing houses or courts in the city. When it comes to your business as a player, protect yourself and have somebody that's going to know how to protect you.
For sure. So I don't want to spend too much time talking about the 80s and 90s, but some things happened in the 90s with you and your clients that affect business today. And I think several different things have happened in your career. I think there's 4 of them that I think highlight where you were involved in situations that changed the way NBA business operates. I wondered if we could go through them a little bit, and just to illustrate the push and pull that happens every single year, if not every single day, between the NBA players and the NBA sort of hierarchy. And the first one being the Jim Jackson contract holdout of, what was that, 1994?
1992. 1992.
So Jim Jackson is what pick in the draft of the Dallas Mavericks?
Fourth.
And at the time, there's no rookie.
Shaq is first, Mourning is second, Leighton is third, Jimmy's fourth. So you can see it's still burnt into my psyche.
Right.
Okay. And I believe LaFonso Ellis was fifth, but I didn't want to acknowledge the fifth pick because Jimmy was in the group before. And Jimmy's done, everybody knows who Jim Jackson is. He's had success on your path the same way with broadcasting and all he's doing NBA TV. So he should be known by a lot of people that follow the NBA. But the key point that you're getting to is there's no rookie scale. That's the key difference. 92. Now the young men that rejoice tearfully on draft day think that the rookie scale is awesome. They have not lived with anything else. But in those days, you got what you could negotiate out of the box as a rookie. 6-year deal, 10-year deal, 4-year deal, 3-year deal. So that's what brought the issues to bear on that situation. So let me know what else you strike.
Well, so he didn't sign a contract, couldn't agree to terms, and the word holdout is a delicate term with agents, I know, because he wasn't under contract, so he wasn't holding out, but he did not sign at the start of the season. And he did not sign in November, December, January, February. And I just wonder if you could take us through what that process was like and what ended up happening in the end of it.
Well, it was a process that starts much like it does today. Everybody was highly joyous on draft day. It was a high pick. The draft was in Portland. They had the green room, much of the same fanfare, but of course, no social media. But it was a big event, especially when you have Shaquille O'Neal as your number one pick. The USA Basketball was preparing I think it was a pre-Olympic preparation, so everybody in the leading in the $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 range, maybe. And now players were starting to get in the multi-million-dollar range, and rookies, because of no restraints, were aspiring to get salaries that were equal to all-star players, multi-million-dollar per year contracts. And without getting into another book level explanation, the Dallas Mavericks were very much an old school franchise. Every time that they drafted a player, that player became the line of demarcation in the salaries. That's how contracts were negotiated. If you were an agent, you could never let a player drafted behind your player get more money. If you did, the Sharks would be on you and say you did a substandard job. So there was intense pressure on the agents to continually raise the bar and do a contract that would help get you more clients and also be reflective of that particular client's value. So it was really a crossroads time in the NBA where they did not want to pay players $1 million, $2 million, much less $3 million as draft picks before they'd even scored a point in the NBA, as everybody continually reminded me at the time. So when Shaq signed and Alonzo signed and Leitner signed 5 to 6 year deals started between 3 and 4 million, because of that pressure and that concern and that goal that I took for granted and I took it on willingly, Jimmy Jackson needed to be grouped with that top 3 group of players. Unfortunately, the owners of the Mavericks, the owner and the management, wanted Jimmy to be grouped with the lower level players that did not get those years and guaranteed money. And that became the crux of the dispute, the dilemma, the impasse, which then resulted in him not signing until the following March after a lot of drama, back and forth, stories, communications over speakerphones from Dallas. There's no fax machines. We subscribed to all the papers around the country. There was no internet to see what was going on.
Yeah, so imagine
Nah.
Now, that's Rich Paul explaining how he grew up with gangsters and killers and all of these people from his neighborhood. And you want to sign with this dude. I told you, Rich is a hustler, not an agent. He's never sat there and negotiated an NBA contract and sat down with a general manager and negotiated it himself. The lead negotiator is Mark Termini. You see, they want to play games constantly with us. But this is how the scenario always goes. They sell you one thing and they turn around and do another. I didn't make anything up about the Mann family.
On the groceries in the trunk to last 1 week. This is one of the ways to plan with intent, but always be ready to improvise. Remember those 5 wild brothers who lived on Edmonton? Rue. Study your craft. Euclid was what hustlers used to call it.
Now, right then and there, you can tell that's some bullshit. But once again, it teaches you about Rich Paul and what he respects. He's a hustler. He's a crack baby that came up in the hood with Down syndrome in his family, the whole nine. But this dude has never negotiated a deal in his life. But yet they tell you this is the man. Strive to be Rich Paul. This the guy that's with Adele. And now they got UTA doing all the work. So this is why Rich Paul got time to sit around, do podcasts, everything. Hey, I can't blame him for what his parents did. It's not Rich's fault. He's a hustler. I'm not knocking his hustle. It's like, dude, I just see through your bullshit. You can't fool me. I know a hustler when I see one. You know, agent, I wouldn't sign with him. I mean, dude, what the hell? Oh, we gonna go back and fix that. I'll be, oh, hell no. Get me up out of here, bro. You crazy. You ain't messing up my money.
Oh, no.
Now look at him snitching. Snitching on, he naming people and everything in the shootout. The hell wrong with you? Now, well, everybody thought I was lying. Everybody thought I was lying, and I was just making up stuff about Rick. It get way more crazier. It gets way more crazier than that. So that's what I'm saying. He did not go to college. He did not go to any of these places. He's a hustler. He was taught to hustle. LeBron James grew up around hustlers, drug dealers. So if I'm in the business of coming to the NBA, I'm not looking at Rich Paul. Because I'm like, okay, you trying to hustle me. I come from the hood. I've seen 1,000 hustlers. He from East Side like me. Yeah, they by way of St. Louis, East Side, Cleveland. Yeah, he has a Down syndrome auntie that's got Down syndrome. So it's in their family. It's a lot going on over there. But this is why I was telling people the first time around, like what was actually happening and taking place. Thank you. What was taking place over at Klutch Sports? He wasn't negotiating any contracts. He was just in the room. Rich Paul had nothing to do with these deals. Now, the clients or whatever, they'll call Rich and be like, yo, Rich, what's up? Mark, like he told you, I want to stay in the background. That was on purpose. I did not want to be out front. I just want my money. I don't need the clients calling me. Call Rich, because Rich just going to BS you. He going to chat with you and tell you, oh, man, we're going to get you this, we're going to get you that. And then he'll call Mark and tell Mark, well, Mark, man, he want to get this and that. There, see what you can do. So he just the middleman, but he's not doing any of the negotiations. He's in there taking notes on what to do. So when they say he was shadowing Leon Rose, he was just in the room. Leon Rose wasn't taking him under his wing. Rich was just there in the room because he wanted to be a sports agent too. And then they hired Mark to negotiate the contract because ain't nobody stupid enough to have Rich Paul negotiate contracts. LeBron James has never had Rich Paul negotiate any of his contracts. But they gave you the illusion that that was the case. They gave you the illusion that this guy was negotiating deals. So they signed with UTA because a lot of these new clients weren't signing up with them. So they needed people right away. So they said, well, you know what? Let's get him. You know what? Let's see if we can get this right here. They running in the holes. Yeah, running in and out of holes like a mouse. There is no more Klutch Sports, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here to tell y'all right now, this is the big truth. The secret of them. Hey, I'm telling you, there's no more Klutch Sports. It's been absolved by UTA. Okay, they only have it, they acquired them. They're bought out. This is why Rich can do podcasts. He can do, they're like, why is a sports agent sitting there podcasting? Because he's not a sports agent. He's a bullshitter. He wants to get himself out there. He is not negotiating deals. There's no more sports, no Klutch Sports. They're all UTA. You see them guys up there? They own Rich Paul. Now they got Maria Taylor, and they said, oh, Maria Taylor's with Klutch Sports. No, she's with the sports division of UTA. Who does the negotiation for the contracts? Is it Rich Paul and Klutch Sports? Nope. It's UTA and their legal team and their representatives. They go in there with their lawyers and they team and they negotiate the deals. Rich Paul is in the room. If be anything you want to add, Rich? Yeah. Y'all got some Doritos? They all grew up hustling and gambling. Mav Carter, Rich Paul. Don't you see? That's why they all friends with LeBron. They all hustlers and gamblers and drug dealers. They from the hood. Y'all thought I was lying when I said raising Canaan ain't nothing but raising LeBron. I know, right? And that's when they say it's a problem. Of course, LeBron's a gambler. He like Cool Ran. See, all you do is let people lie on themselves. Then you find out the truth from the people that's been around them. Because what they don't understand is that the people around you have observed you. They know what you are and what you aren't. And they sat there and said, hey, did this person sit down with you? They said no. What did the general manager from Cleveland tell you? I negotiated with Mark Termini. I negotiated the LeBron's contract with Mark Termini. He's never negotiated a deal with Rich Paul. He said Rich Paul was in the room, but Mark Termini, who had to sue to get his money, all Rich Paul and them had to do was pay him $4 million. Why wouldn't you pay that man the $4 million you owed him? That's the guy you pay and you just shut up. So they went and negotiated the deal and settled out of court because they knew but Rich come out, man, this guy lying, saying he did all this stuff, man. You knew damn well that man wasn't lying. You knew 100% he wasn't lying. Did I care about? No, I didn't care about that. Man, you got to be thinking about you got to be thinking crazy if you believe in that. Rich Paul has been a degenerate gambler. I'm a gambler. Well, everything could be a success story. You know what I'm saying? But you got to look at it realistically and say, all right, well, what's the end game here? They came through and sabotaged this live stream a long time ago. No, I'm not gonna make it long. I just wanted to make it strong, so everybody in here know what time it is. We're gonna have more on the Patreon. Don't forget to follow the Carcino for Life Patreon. It's your boy Carcino. I'm out. Thanking you.